Hi, this is Yavi Renee, and in this video, I'm going to be speaking about trusting life. I'm going to just say trust life in any situation that you're in. It doesn't matter what adversity you're facing, it doesn't matter what flow that life is in. You must trust life. And I know it gets scary, it gets weary, your anxiety, gets so high at certain points in your life. But you always have to listen to that small voice in the back of your mind that's telling you that, even the small voice that's in your spirit, that's whispering and telling you that everything is going to be okay. That's reminding you of certain things when you're going through um, those certain, trials and tribulations or adversities in your life. You must trust life. If you don't, then you're just going to be, like a leaf in the wind. You're just going to basically be like a detriment to yourself. You're going to be the reason for your stress levels and, bad health and all of that stuff because you continue to worry. And I know, on this journey, there's a lot of uncertainties. But the lesson of it all is to keep the faith. It's to trust life. It's to trust source. It's to trust universe or whatever you call your higher being. Trust it. I don't care what it looks like. For me, I want to say for the past week or so, I had sort of like a health scare. And it was serious. It could have really, been a detriment to my health. Um, and I was stressing. And I won't sit up here and say that, I'm exempt from it, that I'm so spiritual or I'm so connected that I still, didn't feel nervous, or I still wasn't afraid, or I still didn't allow my mind to take me places from the past to the present. This monkey mind, it jumps wherever it wants to jump. So it continued to go from the past. I allowed it to go from the past to the future. From the past to what might have happened that caused this situation to the present, up into the future, to where I even allowed my mind to give me scenarios of me being unhealthy, or even scenarios as far as being at a funeral. I allowed my mind to do that, so I have been stressing myself out and being a detriment to myself for no apparent reason, when all I had to do is trust life, because creation is already created. There's no reason to, try to worry and find scenarios or try to fix anything because it's already created. Um, Source has shown you so many different times. Well, I know for at least me, Source has shown me many times to trust Source, to trust life, to trust creation. And it's like each and every time I get in a situation where I feel like my life is over, I allow myself to still get stressed out. Not like before, but nevertheless, I still allow myself to get stressed out. But I will say within this last week of the so-called health scare, I did hear Source. I heard that small, still voice every time, my mind would bring up these scenarios, and I would um, basically be worshiping fear, because worry is the worship of fear. So I was worshiping fear all this time, and every time I got ready to cry, or every time I got ready to, just get sad and think about, oh, my life, it was always that small voice that was saying, everything is going to be okay. Everything is always working out for you. Stop allowing situations that you don't even know anything about. You haven't even got any results yet, but you have already made up your own results. Worry when it's time to worry. You have no reason to worry right now. You're getting distracted. I'm hearing all of this. You're letting this situation be a distraction. You have work to do. You have things you have to do other than worrying. And I just kept hearing those little words of encouragement, like those reminders. I kept hearing, oh, you worship in fear. Worry is the worship of fear. Oh, everything is always working out for you. Oh, everything is okay. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, I know, that this isn't the end of the road for me because I know I have work to do. So even though I allowed, the negative thought pattern to occur, it was always that little small little piece, that little positive little mindset, that seed that had been planted. It was small, it was still, it was, just a meek voice, but it was louder than that fear. Do you understand me? Every time that fear thought that it was going to take over, that little small voice, that reminder was like, boom. Every time I heard that, it just kind of like took all the fear away. So I'm just basically trying to tell you, just hold on. When life is flowing, go with the flow of life. Go with the flow because Source already knows what it has planned for you. So I did all of that worrying, and got to my results this week. And it was nothing serious. It was nothing detrimental to my life. Was there a situation there that I have to handle? Yes. But it was a common situation that happens all the time, that they could fix for me, that will, make my situation even better. But it wasn't the detrimental situations. It wasn't those death situations that I was thinking about. It wasn't the sickly, unhealed situation that I was thinking about. And I know that a lot of people, have probably been through, health scares or, what have you in life. But for me, it's just like it's kind of deeper than that because of, things that occur in my life, things that occurred in my family. Like a lot of people have passed away in my family, from many different sicknesses. It's kind of like a curse, on my family. We lose a lot of people. And I just pray to Source that, please do not let this be my fate. I don't want to have the same fate. I want to break those curses. I want to be here, to be a beacon of hope and light and love and peace for others. I want to, explore this planet and, be a teacher and be a safe place and be just what I came here to be for others. I didn't want to have to serve that same fate as my ancestors. So that was another thing that had me afraid because it's like my family is like a dying breed, A lot of the soldiers in my tribe, they drop. So I didn't want that to be my fate. And that's what really, really had my mind going and had me afraid. But even yet and still with that, knowing that fact, I still had to trust life. I still had to trust Source. I still had to trust universe. I still had to trust what was already panned out in front of me and told to me what was going to happen in my life. I'm going to be okay. Everything is always working out for me. I'm going to impact many before my time is up. I'm going to be satisfied when that day comes and I'm on my deathbed. So a lot of the times, you think that it's the end of the world and it really isn't. You just have to pay attention to the signs and trust life. That's my message for today, is to have faith in life and trust it no matter what flow it's on. Okay? So until the next video, namaste.